So I think an important part to think about organizations is figuring out your level of analysis. So what do I mean by level of analysis? It's thinking about who is who has the locus of control and what are those particular effects at that given level. So let me explain what I'm actually talking about here, right? It's a technical term that we use in research methods, thinking about the level of analysis. And the reason why this comes up a lot in I often think about is because there's many different levels of analysis that happen in organizations. So, what am I talking about? Um, there is one level of analysis that we often think is that the individual, the person itself, is responsible for the outcomes that they actually get. Um, so you do something, it's your immediate, the reason why something actually happened in the way that it did was because of the actions that you actually chose. And that makes a lot of sense, right? This is kind of like basic psychology that you think about. That you do something, and as a result, the outcomes that you get are the result of those particular actions. Now, a different level of analysis is thinking about the organization, right? Or maybe at the team level, or maybe at the division of the organization, the sort of the divisional unit that is in charge, or the department, for example. These are sort of higher levels of analysis. And in this particular scenario, right, if an organization, so a group gets together within an organization and chooses something, then that action is a result, or the outcomes are a result of that particular action. Um, or if your department gets together and sort of chooses something, the outcomes that actually happen are the result of that particular choice that the department came together. And I know that making a choice as a department, for example, is a little tricky. Maybe there's 100 people that are there, but maybe you have consensus. That's the way that you actually do things in your particular department for 100 people, for example. And so you all vote, and everybody chooses this thing, and then there's an outcome that's a result of it. Now you might have even higher level of analysis, right? You might think about a country, for example, or a state, for example, or a province, um, where the state, the sort of bureaucrats or the politicians determine at that state or um, province level has an impact, has outcomes, right? So the choices that are made within Parliament or within the Senate, um, those choices have a result on the outcome, and outcomes are something that happens from it. Now we have a tendency, and this is why I'm actually talking about this, and I've been thinking about this lately. We have a tendency to easily interpret our actions um, are the result, or the outcomes that we have are the result of our particular actions. And we often neglect or fail to take into account that these actions that you choose and the outcomes that you choose are the result of higher order things that are going on. So, the reason why I drive in a particular way in my car is not my choice. Some of that is, yes, it is my choice, but it also was the result of the state that I live in, how they determined what the road structure should be, and as well how the municipality, how they chose the development agency in the municipality, what they chose their streets to actually look like, and the patterns that they might actually look like. So my choice that I have, and the outcomes that I have, are actually heavily constrained um, from the actions of these higher level other actors that are involved. So I cannot just drive straight across to get to a certain place. I have to zigzag and squirrely all about and be part of traffic and all this kind of stuff. It's very complicated just to get to some particular location. And my choice is very much constrained by the actions of a higher level that happen, right? So I might decide I want to go to a certain location, but I can't get there very quickly. Or I choose a different way to actually get there. Or I make a choice based on what's actually going on and I say I'm not going to go to that location because it's too hard to get there. Um, so what you're looking at and thinking about is thinking about the actions at a different level of analysis and how it actually impacts you. And so for your personal choice and what you are thinking, I was thinking about this. It's like, um, I might feel ashamed, or I might feel, like I can't do something, or I might feel that my performance is at not the level that I would like, but I'm neglecting heavily that there are different resources that are available from different choices that are being made at higher levels. And if I sort of take that into account and I say, you know, it's not my choice, right? That something actually happens, and maybe there's a small fraction of what happens is my choice, and the outcomes that I get are a result of the choices that I have. But if I take a bigger picture and I say, hey, wait a minute, I'm very constrained in the outcomes I actually get and the results that I actually get. So my actions and even the actions that I choose are likely the result of some other sort of higher level thing that's actually happening. So I know that this is a complicated sort of story to think about. I'm very aware of that. But what I want you to take away is think um, to not feel guilty, to not feel like on the flip side is to realize like, hey, wait a minute, the outcomes that I actually get are likely not the reason, if you're highly successful, right? If you got all this success and you're doing really well, realize that that success is a function of so many other actors, right? For many different reasons coming from just it's very complicated. And then if you feel guilty that you're not performing the way that you have, or that you should, or that you have to make a hard decision. So I guess my point is, don't feel guilty for not performing where you think you should be. And then as well, don't feel so smitten that you're as successful as you are, because many of the outcomes that you actually get are the result of other actions that are going on. And it also, for me, it helps me make some tough decisions sometimes where I can say, hey, um, this decision is already made for me. I don't have the time for this because of these particular decisions that have already been made, and I just simply need to realize that I don't have the time and resources because of these other decisions that are being made at a much higher level. All right, so hopefully this helps you out. Take care and have a wonderful day.